garage. We're going
Shifting lanes, the flamethrower.
Coming soon, shifting lanes, the bikini wax. I mean, what? I, though I don't know if I want to admit it now, I'm Chad. With me, as always, is Greg. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Welcome to the show. Greg, how you doing, my dude?
I am good now that we are actually talking about something that I want to talk about, like automotives, instead of everything else that I don't want to talk about, which is legitimately everything else going on currently everywhere. So cars, good. The rest of existence, terrible. Cars, good. Let's talk about those.
Yes.
And nothing else.
Yes, let's talk about cars and the good of cars being discontinued.
Yeah. So like, yay, cars, but they're going away.
Yay, cars that are not options anymore. But
did I send you the article by any? I forget if I sent you the actual article that we were going to use. I'm just going to drop it into our chat, but Chad just said that basically, we're talking about discontinued cars. I did a short yesterday on everything that's getting killed off in 2026. Basically, all the cars that are just going away, or these models are basically just getting ended and they're going into something else. So we are going to have a big old discussion around those cars, future cars, and things that are going to replace these cars.
Yay! Oh, hey, that's like my PC dinged. Why? It's like, oh, Greg has a.
He's like, yeah, it's the thing I just told you I was going to send you.
Yes. Alrighty. Hold on. Now time to share everything. But yes. So, in the interest of preparedness, I actually have our break topic already ready to go, so you can start subconsciously thinking about it. And it's simple: discontinued car of all time, like
all time,
that you would, given the power, you would bring back.
Ooh. Man, okay. I'll start to think about that, but that's a beefy topic.
I like them beefy. Oh wait, what?
That's fine. You can admit that. I also like them beefy, especially when we're talking about burgers or tacos.
Yes, as God intended.
Yes, as the good Lord on the third day said, "And your tacos and burgers shall be beefy." And it works really nicely in my echo chamber garage. Burgers.
Yeah, I kind of hate you.
Whatever. I would like the beefy taco and burger. Delish.
Wow. Just keep in mind, apparently Facebook is on a demonetization kick when you say things like beefy taco.
Well, hey, look, big food item. If we're getting the old BANNED on Facebook, what does that tell you about Facebook? They're pushing some interesting content talking about beefy tacos. Not good. Not a good look, Facebook.
Please keep paying us.
Also, yes, do that thing. So, you were going to say, in the interest of preparedness.
Yes, that's just one thing I wanted to, because I feel like we kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Aren't prepared almost always.
Almost always. But this time we shall be.
Yes. So, good Lord. So, might as well hop right on in to it, because we have a feeling that this one, I told Greg to make a list, and hopefully he doesn't have. I kept meaning to text Greg this earlier, but I forgot. Is the best way I can describe this, and that is don't repeat. Like I know I watched your video and you mentioned there's many different crossovers on that list.
Yes.
My answer for every single one of them is going to be the same. So,
Should we just do the whole list?
might as well. I mean, just again, every crossover, I'm going to give the same exact answer.
Right, exactly. So I'm trying to find the article. Did I seriously close it? What an idiot! Seriously, what a stupid idiot.
You literally
Here we
just
go.
sent it to me. It's in the chat.
I know, but then I closed the tab like a dumbass. Okay, so lots of cars getting discontinued for 2026. We're going to go alphabetically because that's how the article was done. So we are going to start with Acura and the Acura TLX.
So, one, saw this coming. Two, we've kind of touched on this car, this exact car, a few weeks ago. It kind of sucks to see another literal car get the axe. It sucks to get yourself centered, Chad. There we go. Just gonna throw my normal content into chaos, by the way. But the quick reaction on that is basically it sucks to see another car go. But on the flip side, it wasn't really all that enthusiast based, if that makes any sense. You know, there wasn't really a manual option. I thought they kind of looked cool, and everything, but it was just given where it came from and what it was supposed to replace. It could have been really, really cool, but it ended up not so much. It's almost a nothing burger. It's like if a car has to get the axe, this is one that I'm not going to shed too many tears over.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool car in the sense of like it has like the Type S, variant to it, which is kind of nice. But like I'm not going to, cry a deep river over it. It's a nice looking car. It was relatively sporty, but it's not necessarily something that I'm just like, rats, So yeah, that's number one. I feel like a bunch of these on the list are going to have that same sort of deal, and we can talk about like the next three. I think potentially in the same vein, where it's a bunch of Audis. We got the A4, the A7, and the S7. Also, what are your feelings on those? Is it similar to the Acura TLX, or is there something there that maybe is like, oh well, that kind of sucks?
To be honest, I mean the A4 is one because that means no S4 or RS4, so no like midsize. Hold on a second. Technically speaking, the A4 isn't dead. The brand streamlining its range is part of an.
Yeah.
A5 will replace the gas and the gas A4.
Right.
A4.
So there's a lot as a nameplate is dead.
Right. Whatever. I mean, this one is the German. Oh no, the Germans are redoing the alphanumeric system on which they name cars. Maybe this one might make sense or less sense. Who knows? Because BMW always used to tell you what engine was in it. It was the 3 Series, and then it was the displacement of the engine.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing with Mercedes. It was the C300. Shockingly, it came with a 3-liter V6.
Right.
All that other stuff. Now it's just sort of like it makes no sense. It's like the C43. Oh, so is it 4.3 liter? No, it is a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Huh?
What? Yeah.
So like, look.
Yeah. You go.
I mean, I'll put it this way: like, Audi's just sort of. I think Audi suffered from. Ooh, BMW went nuts with the. This is a 2 Series. This is a 3 Series. The 3 Series has 4 doors, and the 4 Series has 2 doors. Unless it's the Grand Coupe, at which point it has 4 doors again. And like, they kind of fell into that sort of naming convention. You had the A4, and then the A5 was the coupe.
Right.
So it's. I don't know. A lot of these cars, and I watched your video, a lot of these cars, it's like it's going away. And it's being replaced by something that's just going to have a different name and, maybe look a little better. So, you know, it's hard to, we already know that like the RS3 is probably, and the RS TT are losing the heart and soul when we talked about the engine going away, the 5-cylinder. But that's like these are, oh no, what are middle to upper management CEOs who don't want an SUV going to drive?
I know. Darn. One of the other 4 Luxo barges. Yeah, I mean, I'm sad to see the A4 nameplate go, just because of like how legendary the A4 has been, like worldwide, and sort of not necessarily like a huge motorsport thing, but like, you think back to like British touring cars and like, oh, that's like, right, it's a recognizable nameplate, and it's just like, oh, that kind of sucks. But also, like, you made a really good point of like the diluting of the gene pool with, like, they have the A4, the A5, the A6, the A7, the A8, the 8.5, the 9. There's too many of them, quite honestly. And to your point, none of them make any sense to like what the actual car is anymore. So it's one of those things where you're just like, well, to me, I'm actually okay with the A4 going away. I wish the A5 went away and the A4 would just stayed, because that's sort of how I wanted it to be. But I feel like this consolidation of lineups is good for the automotive industry, because Audi, BMW, Mercedes were, specifically BMW was the first one to do it. They just started throwing cars at like genres and like gaps that didn't exist and didn't need to exist. And we're going to get to BMW next, because they're next on the list. And there's several cars on there, including some from Mercedes that are, for what I'm exactly talking about. Well, specifically for Mercedes, I'm looking at the BMW one. There's only one of them on the list. That I'm just like, oh, thank God, good riddance. But they were filling gaps with all of these cars. We didn't need, no one needed them, and we'll talk about one in a second. But I'm sort of glad to see consolidation happening in a lot of these manufacturers for that reason.
I think, and sort of like, and again, we'll touch on this on quite a few of them, but if you have to explain to the consumer, let's use BMW because it's the easiest, right? It's like, this is the BMW, 435i Grand Coupe. Oh, what is it? Well, it's exactly like an M3. It just has a different body on it. Or not the M3, but the 3 Series with a different body on it. So you're like, okay. Like, to me, that sort of stuff, honestly, I just get rid of it. Just like with a lot of these like A7s and all these other stuff, it's like a fastback 4-door that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Just make a wagon. You're like halfway there.
Correct. That's a great point. And wagons are more utilitarian, and they're better in like every conceivable way.
And if they do it similar to your car, because you can kind of see how the roofline on Greg's car sloops down, so it's not like pure utilitarian. There is some design in there, which makes it look really good. I don't think anybody will care. It's like, oh no, we don't have the sport back, which, let me just check my notes, isn't selling.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Moving on.
Yes. So going to BMW next, because, well, that's, because Alphabet. We have the BMW X4, the BMW 8 Series, the BMW M8 Competition, and the BMW XM Base. And one of those cars that I was talking about just now is the X4. No one needed this thing. No one needed it. The X4 and the X6 are two of the most loathsome cars that have ever been conceived by mankind. I am so glad this is going away. And quite honestly, like, it's just a lifted, ugly jelly bean hatchback that BMW was like, you like sedans? You want to sit a little higher like an SUV? But do you not want all of the great stuff that comes with an SUV? We've got the car for you. We've got this big piece of shit.
Do you like sedans but wish the center of mass was higher and it handled worse? Yeah. Boy, do we have a car for you.
Exactly. And I'm just like, are you like I did one of these like to nobody by myself. I was reading an article and I like talked to myself. I was like, is this for fucking real? Like, like when they came out with it, I'm like, why? Why does this need to exist? It doesn't, and I'm so glad it's going away. This is one of the ones where I'm just like, good riddance, goodbye, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. Please never, ever, ever exist again.
So considering that the X4 is our first crossover, at much when you did the video and you just sort of listed off all the cars and stuff, I'm like looking, listening, and going, that's gonna be replaced by something different. That's so like in the X4's case, good news, the X2. Like
yeah, but the X2 has existed already, and it's been existing for a while. It my parents have an X2 actually, and it was when it was like a hatchback, and it's a really nice car, and it's a cool little car.
SUVs
The X4
are not hatchbacks.
So I understand. This is the no matter what anyone tells you, no matter whatever nomenclature is read, the X2, at least the one that my parents have, is not an SUV. It is not as tall as me. If a car is taller than me, I will call it an SUV. I will call it a crossover. The X2 that my parents have is literally just a hatchback. It is the same height, maybe an inch taller than a Golf GTI. I've measured it. It is not an SUV. It is not a crossover in any conceivable definition of that term. It is a fucking hatchback. End of discussion. Like, I look at the thing and it's as tall as my car. And I'm like, that's not an SUV. This isn't an SUV. There's no way.
Where's the center line? Where's the axle center line versus where's the
the
body?
axle center?
Like,
I don't know.
Meaning
the height is like
so like it could be squashed and lifted like an AMC Eagle. That's still
well, sure, but like the ground clearance is no better than my car. It's like an extra inch. It's got like 5.9. Mine's got 4.9, I think. But this is an older X2. I think they've redone it since. But the one that my parents have is not an SUV for sure. And even if it says it is, it's not. But either way, the X2 does still exist, but it's not the X4. Thank God.
To the ones you've listed, I'm sad to see an M car go, and arguably the best looking M car in the current lineup.
Oh, we can talk about that one. Vastly disagree.
I mean, it has the ridiculous kidney grills, but like the M5, still M3, M4, no. I mean, I guess no, not even because the fucking M2 looks like it was done in claymation.
Oh, see, I've come around to the new M2. I like the new M2 a lot.
That is one of the laziest designed performance cars I have ever seen, and somehow it's both uninspiring and ugly. Like,
oh man, see, I've come around to the new. I still think the old one's better, but the newer one I very much have come around to. I've seen a bunch of them in person now, and I'm like, ooh, okay, I get it. The M3, still no. I can't get over the pig snout. M4, same thing. M5 is quite handsome. Always has been. I'd say currently the M5 is the best looking one out of all of them. The M8 definitely has has an argument, but like I don't know, the proportions never seemed right to me.
Right. I mean, there is some things about it, but it's also of all of the M cars the simplest.
It is, that's for sure. It's definitely the most tame looking by a mile.
It's what, in my estimation, an M car should be. It should be. We're making a regular of whatever series of BMW it is, and we're just making it more aggressive.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good looking car, but BMW doesn't do that anymore. So, weirdly enough, the M4 race cars I'm starting to kind of come around on. But that's only because the wide body sort of makes the beaver teeth not as pronounced. And like the way they do the split in the beaver teeth for like aero and things like that, or just the way they, I guess it's not aero, I guess it's more technically how it's manipulating air into various radiators, intercoolers, etc.
Yeah.
Makes it look better, but as a road car, no. And then lastly, the XM. It's like, oh no, a hideously heavy, fast SUV that, eh, you know, here's the thing: if BMW wants to start selling more cars again, redesign them, make them look a little bit more elegant. You know,
Yeah.
full stop. Like you're just not going to. The people you're designing the car for haven't lived long enough to make the money that you're going to try to extract from their pocket. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the people with the money don't want this shit.
They don't. No, they do not.
You know,
They
so
for sure do not. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. The 8 series for me, like, I don't really care about the 8 series. The M8 comp, same thing. I just, I nothing it. It's not like I appreciate it as a performance
I
car.
don't. The whole thing with the 8
Whatever.
series is I just don't understand it as like again, the 7 series is sort of your executive express.
Right.
You know, the 8 series was, you know, I think, I don't know BMW, but like the original 8 series, the 840 and the 850,
Yeah.
those were cool because they were a Grand Tour BMW that
Yes.
never quite got the correct M treatment, but
Right.
still think one of the most hilarious things ever was like, all right, we need to make the original 8 series. Like, we need to make an M version. Okay, what should we do for the engine? We still got that engine that we gave to Gordon Murray for his little McLaren project, right? Yes. Okay, put it in.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
could
like,
you imagine that?
yeah. I want to be inside the head of that person where they're just like, okay, let's slap a V12 in there. And that was probably how it was like formulated in their head. Like, slap a V12 is not a sentence you hear anywhere in automotive anything anymore. It's
No,
like,
but
oh, just slap a
also at the time, especially in Europe, the more cylinders you had, the more refined the driving experience was. Yes, it
right,
also
right,
happened that you had, you know, the more cylinders you have over a given displacement means you're getting more horsepower out of that displacement.
right.
Assuming you can prevent things like the cams and crankshaft from, you know, doing jump rope things,
Yes.
you know, and everything. But like what was it? The 850 Ci was kind of the hopped up version that ended up being sort of the M that never got an M badge, which is
Right.
why probably
Yep.
sales were El Terrible.
Very El Terrible.
So, anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Change places.
Yes. So the XM base, that was just the last one in that list. Again, who cares? Anyway, Cadillac, shockingly, getting rid of 2 crossovers. And I know you're going to have the same reaction because you said it at the beginning, but Cadillac getting rid of crossovers is just interesting because, well, crossovers sell and Cadillac needs things to sell. So these are just shocking in that sense of just like, why are they getting rid of these? But I guess they're just not selling as well because what the article is saying is basically the XT4 is the first one and the XT6 is the other. The XT4 is apparently, according to this article, this thing is going away so it's going to make room for production for a new Chevy Bolt, which, okay, I understand that. XT4 gone, the XT5 reportedly also going to the top of that. Cadillac will kill off its 3-row XT6 with just over 20,000 examples of the XT6 delivered in 2024. So I guess it's just a slower seller. I guess people just don't like these, even though I think both of them are quite decent looking for what they are. Just Cadillac always has pretty good design language. But what are your thoughts?
They're going to live on in China.
Yes. Is that the response that's coming for all of these?
No, it's
No.
literally the last sentence on the XC6.
No, yeah, I know. I didn't know if that was what you were taking to like say as the thing. They're going to live on in China because probably a lot
So
of
the
these
XT. So here's the thing, right? Like Cadillac's in this weird place of like they were going to become an all electric brand, and now it's like maybe we shouldn't, but we have all this stuff coming. What do we do? So like
Yeah.
I always looked at it like this, right? The XT6 was to the Escalade what the Chevy Traverse was to the Suburban. And what I mean by that, it was a 3-row crossover, so it's kind of competing against itself. However, for Chevy, it worked because the Traverse was significantly cheaper and better on gas.
Yeah.
Cadillac, being a luxury premium brand, especially when you consider they have an all-electric Escalade coming out, which the fact that these massive electric vehicles are coming out is just hysterical to me. It's
so
like,
funny.
it's like, oh Jesus! But like, so like, I kind of get the XT6. It's like, whatever. We have a 3-row. You're buying a Cadillac. You have money. Shut up. The XT4 is a little surprising because it was a handsome little car, but I think both of these are casualties of Cadillac's sort of electric future, and I'm guarantee you a lot of that went into the crossovers. And then when you combine that with the fact that the next car you're about to talk about, as a quote unquote base, the gas version's going away, but the electric one is staying.
Right, exactly. And in that same breath, we might as well talk about that, the Chevy Blazer, which
Goodbye. Later. Don't care. It's Chevy's bringing back the Blazer. Yay. It's a piddly little crossover that can kind of go off-road.
Yeah, who cares? In a sea of crossovers, though, at least this one looked decent. The rest of them kind of, there's so many of them, like hundreds of them that are just like, I don't care. This one actually had some personality to it, but that's just based on like the outside of the car. The rest of it is just meh. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Can't wait for the EV one to be killed off in 2 or 3 years because it doesn't sell, which is how a lot of these are going to go, I feel. So that's Caddy, that's Chevy. An interesting one that sells actually a ton of units. The Ford Escape. This is very kind of surprising. They sell damn near 150,000 of these a year in the US. So like, that's kind of a shocker. Just to put like, what's going on here. Ford sold 146,000 Escapes in 2024. So again, close to 150K. Fourth most popular vehicle behind the F-Series, the Transit, and the Explorer. It's reportedly on the chopping block going into next year, though apparently the nameplate is going to survive into 2026, but only in certain states and certain markets. But yeah, so I guess they're my guess is what they're doing here is they're going to get rid of it for a model year and then bring it back as a new thing. Because a lot of the times these companies do that, right? They'll be like, the whatever is dead. And then all of a sudden, a year or two later, we've got a new thing. And it's just the same thing, just with a new body. So
I honestly think so. If you go and you look at the states that you can't buy the Escape in next year, California, Massachusetts, New York, Oregon, Vermont, Washington. You know what those states also won't let you buy?
What's that?
The Durango the Durango Hellcat.
Yeah.
Or
so I think these are the carb states, right?
So that leads me to believe that Ford's going to have to take the Escape, their compact crossover, technically.
Yeah.
Take it back to take it back and figure out how to give it a more carb friendly engine, powertrain, etc. I agree with you that it'll come back. I almost guarantee you it will come back as a hybrid.
Oh, for sure.
Didn't
they have an Escape hybrid though?
They have an Escape, but I mean it'll come back as whatever the new name is. Escape again.
The Escape.
Given their nomenclature with all the E's for their crossovers, I don't know. But it'll come back, but it'll have various different models, but all of them will be a hybrid. If you catch my meaning.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Sorry, I have to mute right now. Kate, for some reason, is now vacuuming in the kitchen. I don't know why. So, cool. That's fun.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. So interesting on the Escape. That's sort of a weird one to me. I think
it's just how long has there been an Escape, right?
I mean, a long time. I think like 20 something years, because
So it's
it's
probably
been a
one of those
while.
things where someone in marketing's like, people have name fatigue, and the name escape is associated with pleh. Let's just move on and call it, develop
Yeah,
something and make it.
yeah. Make it some other name that'll come out in a year or two, and it'll be basically just
Yeah.
the new escape. Um, yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Either way, we'll move on to the next one, which is the Genesis G80, but the electrified version. The G80 itself, as a gas powered car, is staying, but the battery powered G80 is uh, is going away. So, and Chad, did you know that there has been a Genesis G80 electric version on the market since 2021?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I had literally no idea until I read this article. I was like, wow, that's uh, that's insane. Yeah, they sold fewer than 500 of them in 2024. So yeah, that's one of the ones where you're only selling 500 cars and it's a big Luxo barge. Probably going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? All of these, when did this car come into existence? 2021. Wonder what happened around that. What was happening around that time, right? Electric cars sales were booming, and there was political, what you call it? The political tides were moving in the direction of electric. So, all right, we still want to have a big sedan, but let's make it electric just to cover our base.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now. Oh, all that electric stuff is getting what's the word? The reins are being pulled in on it. Okay. Well, this thing, we sell about 4 of these a year. Should probably go ahead and discontinue this thing.
Yeah. We're not making any money, and the stamps to make the body are more expensive than the cars now. So yeah, no.
But
Um, so yeah,
I mean,
cool.
it's a
Cool.
this is the type of stuff that I like electric for. We're gonna get to cars later where it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But you know, what do you want in a big luxury sedan? You want something that's smooth, something that's quiet, something that's understated in the sense that it's not doesn't have a big look at me exhaust. It's why like the big S class Mercedes, right? We've all seen the video where they it's got the V12 in it and it drives along and it barely makes a noise, but you put equal length headers on it and it sounds like a freaking Formula 1 car,
Right.
right? Like so it's just it makes sense. I mean, granted the range and stuff, but like if you're just being chauffeured around a city, I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah. Yeah.
the next one is funny. The next
Yeah.
two are funny.
Yeah, the next two are funny. So we've talked about Infinity a lot as a brand. This is a very funny one because it's the Infinity QX50 and the Infinity QX55. And Infinity, in their infinite wisdom, decided to kill off their best-selling car in the QX50. And their reasoning is that the QX60, which is slightly bigger and entirely new, like a totally new model, is going to fill that gap. And I say, no, it won't, because no one's going to buy it, just like the others. But the QX60 is not going to be as good looking as the QX50. QX50 is a great looking little SUV. It is. This is oh, that's weird. This car is. I mean, Infinity killed off its best selling car. I think that's all that needs to be said. They don't know what they're doing.
I mean, here's the thing: is it being killed off, or is it just there's a new vehicle to fill the void, right? Like, that's what I'm saying with a lot of these crossovers. It's like, yay, death to crossovers. But good news, we're bringing Act 7 in the same size, all with we're going to have one that only has an electric motor on the left front wheel. And then each subsequent model, like it's the QX51, that's one electric, like,
Yeah.
so it's one of those things where, look, I think honestly we've said it, and I don't think you can really give Infinity shit on this one for getting rid of their best-selling model. Anything you place in this compact or mid-size crossover space is going to sell. If you can be Nissan or Infinity in this case and say, hey, here's the all new, and then you can show an interior that's contemporary, that looks like it matches some of its rivals in the space, and it actually is, or at the very least appears to be newer, that's what we've been telling them to do for months now. So you can't really take a dump on them getting rid of this car, especially if it's being replaced by something to literally fill the same exact market space.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, either way, quite frankly, Infinity needs to like just nuke its whole lineup and get something new. That's the way I sort of see that entire company going. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting next 5 years, because if it doesn't change, I feel like Infinity is basically just going to go under as a company.
Well, I mean, honestly, Nissan, we've always said this about Nissan Infinity. What do they need to do? Trim their model lineup down, make 3, maybe 4 models that are exceptionally good.
Yeah.
Maybe not even exceptional, but are just good and shockingly new. Like they don't feel like old Nissans. They don't feel like a cash-strapped company is making it.
Agree. Like Genesis.
Right. So, like, that's what we say. So, I like to look at that one with the Infinities and go, haha, they listened to me.
Right.
And therefore, smart decision.
Yeah, exactly. Agree. Because I should be the executive.
Dude, totally off topic, but we just got reminded of it. So as everyone knows, I'm a Mets fan, and we've been talking about how some of our starters, Clay Holmes, Sean Manaea, they can't go more than 3-4 innings. They just hit that wall and then they stop. Like Kodai Senga is another one. So I was saying, take 2 of those guys, have one be the first 3 innings, have the other guy be the next 3 to 4 innings, and figure it the fuck out. My buddy Brett will attest to this. And what did they do last night? They do that, and I go, see, I told you they should have hired me. And
did they win?
They won last night. They're trying to come back. See?
So smart decision. New manager, Chad W. Kennedy.
Yep. Yeah, way to put my middle initial in there, so it makes it even easier to find me.
Well, that's true. That's my bad. Chad Q. Kennedy.
Gregson L. Mate the Fourth, Jr.
Esquire. Put some respect on my name. Get that Esquire at the end.
I didn't know you were into law, but yeah. So like,
yeah.
Of all the ones, like the crossovers, like that, it's where it's like, they're just bringing something newer with a different name because marketing people are morons now.
Yep.
This one actually, in my head, makes sense because not for nothing, you have the QX50, the QX55, and the QX60. The fuck's the difference?
Well, right. I know. It doesn't make any sense at all, the naming it, and they're all relatively the same. But yeah, good. I think good on them. Do something cool is my advice for Infinity. What's something that isn't cool are the next 3 cars.
That's not what you said in the video. Or actually, no, that is what you said. Disregard what I just said.
I was just going to say, wait a second. Which video did you watch? No, we got a trio of Lexi. So we have the Lexus LC, the Lexus RC, and the Lexus RCF. For the LC specifically, it is the LC Hybrid. So it's the LC 500H. The Lexus LC 500 isn't dead completely. They have a couple of tweaks. The V8 is updated. The hybrid is one of the ones that kind of doesn't really sell. It had a 3.5 liter V6 with 2 electric motors. And then the V8 has 471 horsepower. So the V8 is definitely the big ticket item there. The hybrid was a good car. It
No.
just was never the same as the V8. It's just
Shocking.
this platform. We were talking about this before. This platform deserves the V8. It's a great Grand Tourer. It feels more nimble than it is. The interior is super premium. The V8 sounds epic. The looks of this thing is from it's like a spaceship. Putting a hybrid in here just sort of seemed like, who cares? Let's just give someone let's give someone a hybrid just for the sake of giving them a hybrid. It almost felt like a justification of like calf restrictions or cafe restrictions. So either way, this is awesome. The V8 stays at least for another year or two.
Good job, Lexus.
Yes, that is good, but the hybrid is gone. But bummer that we're losing one of them because it's just awesome looking, regardless of what it's in.
Absolutely no bummer. Is the V8 living on? Yes. Is the dinky little Camry-powered hybrid version of it dying? Yes. Cause for celebration. Pop the corks. Let's go. Like,
no, go ahead.
You know, the Lexus LC. What always got me about the Lexus LC was, if you look, and what makes even less sense about it is, especially when you consider the new Toyota GT or whatever the hell it's called, how that new Lexus, the replacement to this that we've been seeing for forever, is going to have a Toyota variant and a Lexus variant.
Yes.
The fuck they didn't do that with the LC and the new Supra.
I don't know.
Like, this you could have made look like the FT1. And I have always thought with this chassis, with this whatever you want to call it, platform, that it was the FT1, but they realized, okay, this might be too expensive to put a Toyota badge on it, so they went to BMW. But like, at any rate, look, we all know what's coming, right? Like, the LC is a phenomenal car. It's been around for a while. It hasn't aged a bit. It has one of the best interiors of any car currently on the road today, and that's something that is a hill I'm willing to die on.
I agree.
It is a phenomenal car. The V8 stays, the hybrids, bye, didn't like you, go back, power Camry, you have no place here.
Well, interesting you say that, because the next two are not Camry-esque, but they are sort of Camry-esque in the sense of they're probably on a similar platform or a very close to platform. The Lexus RC and the Lexus RCF. One of these is definitely going to be sorely missed.
Here's the thing, right? Like, the RCF I shouldn't like the RCF as much as I do. The regular RC,
yeah,
whatever.
It's okay. Whatever.
But the RCF, 2UR power, it actually looks pretty good, especially when you put some aggressive bits on it. But automatic transmission, that in the early ones was a little bit dim-witted. They have since made it a lot better. And it just looks cool. It makes the right sounds. It's a Japanese muscle car that looks like a Grand Tourer, right? Like, it's a really cool car. And I'll be 100% honest with everyone. This was in the running for a car. This was in the run when the Silver Mustang burned. This was in the running as its replacement with the ATS-V and obviously another Mustang. We all know what direction I went.
Yes.
Makes me wonder if I shouldn't have just. At any rate, this is one of the first ones where I'm like, well, no, actually, not the LC, because it's only the stupid hybrid. This is the first one I'm genuinely sad to see go, but I get it. It's long in the tooth. The race car variant of it is going to disappear when the new GT comes out. Hopefully the not sports / supercar Lexuses continue to get the F treatment with an updated version of the 2UR, because that engine makes these cars great.
Yeah.
Without that engine, it's okay. With that engine, they're great. And it really shouldn't be. It's part GS, it's part IS, but it's just I really like these cars, and I'm sad to see it go. But if it's going to get a replacement, probably not immediately. Probably gonna have to wait 3-4 years. You know, that's okay. But if Lexus and Toyota's just like, nope, the V8 stuff that's just reserved for our sports and supercars, the sedans and sort of that sort of stuff. Nope, enjoy this bucket of misery that is a V6. Oh, but it's very reliable. Don't give a fuck. Next question.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm sad to see the RCF go and the RC by extension, only because like the RCF doesn't exist because without an RC. So that's a bummer that the platform, or at least this nameplate, is going away, which means the F is going away as well. That sucks. I've driven them. They're very cool cars. They are. If I ever have an opportunity to get a second car again, it would be in the running, just because again, it's great aftermarket. You hit on all the points. It's a cool. It can be modified very nicely. It has a ton of potential. It has a great V8, and it's just a great little 2-door front engine V8 muscle car from Japan. Like it's just a cool car. So that I second that one. It is a bummer. The LC, I mean, again, I'm bummed to see it. I'm bummed to see the hybrid go. I know your feelings about it, but the reason why I'm bummed to see the hybrid go is I get to see less of them potentially on the road. That's the only reason. And I do like
that's one for the
them.
positive column.
Well, that's what I'm.
Because let me put it to you this way, right? You see an LC, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, it's the hybrid. That is like seeing a just unbelievably beautiful woman, and you walk up to her, and she just starts screaming the most nasty, racist, classic, like just a heap of just like, oh my god, you're evil. That is the LC hybrid. Not saying the LC hybrid is. Let me rephrase. Not saying the LC hybrid is racist and their owners are racist. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you have an expectation of this is going to be awesome, and then you walk up to it and it's like, holy crap, you're good to look at, but I don't want to be anywhere near you.
Yeah, no, I understand the analog you're trying to pull through here. Totally. I don't know. I've really gotten into the aesthetics of things. To me, just an opportunity to see less of this car sucks to me. That's just my side of it. Would I rather see the V8? Yeah, hell yeah, of course. But we'll see. I mean, I know that Lexus is developing a new supercar. It's at the ring right now, and they are going to have it come out in the next year or two. So the LC hybrid going away to make room for that, and then the LC V8 going away eventually to make room for that. All right, well, let's see what they got. So, and I'm pretty certain this thing's going to have a V8, considering what we've heard from it at the ring. So, I think the LC is going to have quite the successor, and I don't even know if it's going to be an LC successor. This could be an LFA successor. So. We'll see exactly what it is, but either way, Lexus is still going to have a sports.
I think it'll be both.
That could be
because, and the only reason I say that is originally I didn't think that. I thought it was going to fall somewhere in the middle, not be as ridiculously stupid expensive as the LFA was. Biblically good car.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to justify that price for a Lexus, even though they're trading for ridiculous money now.
Right.
But because they're bringing out a Toyota variant, which I have to imagine isn't going to be the full nuts that the top of the range Lexus is going to be, because let's face it, if the top of the range Lexus has a top of the range Toyota right next to it, and it's $30,000 cheaper to get the Toyota for the same performance, you're going to cannibalize sales, right?
Right.
So that tells me there's going to be a quote unquote entry level model that gets a little spice, and that's going to be the top version for Toyota. But you're also going to have that as a Lexus. Hopefully, it doesn't get the V6 hybrid because fuck you. But I could very well see this car going the route of Corvette. So hear me out. So you
Okay.
have the regular Corvette, 70,000 $70,000. Then you have the Z06, which is the hottest internal combustion engine only version, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the ZR. I'm sorry, you have the Z06, then you have the ZR1, and then you have the ZR1 is the hottest you can get with internal combustion, and then the ZR1X. I could see them doing like a base, a middle, and one that's like everything hybrid. The LCFAX, for lack of a better way of calling it, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, I follow what you're talking about.
So at the entry level trim level, you get kind of the LC replacement.
Right.
At the highest level, you get sort of the LFA replacement, but not as monumentally expensive because they went down that route. And the only way people are going to pay that price again is if they brought back the V10. Because of how many people now love that V10.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I feel. I mean, I think you're right on. I think you're spot on. But like, I mean, I feel that if Lexus is smart, they'll do that and they'll make it sort of into this base XR, whatever it is, and really sort of go to town because no one's really doing that in Japanese sports cardom right now, and they have a chance to like actually like make a name for themselves in modern sports car culture. Because they've had flashes of brilliance with the RCF, with the LC500, the LFA, obviously, being its own thing. But like this could be the Lexus Supra that we've always wanted and always asked for from Lexus. Because the LFA really wasn't, right. It was this.
Nor was the actual Lexus Supra the SC.
Right. Exactly. So we since the 90s, we have always wanted Lexus to have this like sports car equivalent of the Supra. And I think this is their best shot, and it might be their best shot ever. And it might be their only shot too, considering how cars are going. So it'll be interesting. That was just a very long conversation about Lexus as a whole.
But you could make the argument that they deserve it because they're actually making. They're not only doing the stuff that all the other car companies are doing, where it's like, oh, next, but they're actually committed to making exciting stuff.
Yeah,
Toyota as a whole is like that.
Yes.
Honda, nope. Mazda, okay, they'll always make an MX-5 and Miata, and people will continue to love it, and you have all of that, and that's great.
Yeah.
Nissan, don't get me wrong, the Z is a great car. It's just $20,000 too expensive. It's like me trying to sell you this hoodie, and I just get a patch sewn on it that says, I don't know, new, and be like, here you go, $70,000, please.
Yeah, I know. It's a little. It's not a good. It's not a good offering in that sense from a monetary standpoint.
Right, because
it's definitely nicer. It's cooler. Excuse me. It's a better package, but you're not fooling anyone. That's the same car underneath.
Yeah, everybody knows that it's a 20-plus-year-old chassis with a 10-plus-year-old engine. Is that a cool combination? Yes. But
as a brand new car, no.
Like, you don't need to do the what R&D. At any rate,
Right.
Let's get through the next two Bavarians.
Yes.
Not Bavarians, Germans. Because I have thoughts, and then I will take a short break.
I will take my leave.
And Greg will tell you what car from the... And chat, feel free to put this in there, all one of you. In here as well. what car from the pages of history that has been discontinued? So no, like we're not talking about. Oh, I want to bring back the '69 Corvette. Corvette still exists. Not on any of its old variants are no longer on the table. Firebirds, anything from Pontiac, obviously Buick, some like
Right.
you know, all that sort of stuff is on the table. But what car from the pages of history that is completely discontinued that you cannot go and buy a modern variant of would you bring back? Just that's for you, chat. And Greg,
Yes.
what are the next two contestants on cars that are discontinued that Chad could give less of a fuck about?
Yes. The Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe and the Mercedes-Benz Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe and Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe. And I think I can say for everyone on planet Earth, especially us two, that who cares? Good riddance. Go fuck yourselves. It is so refreshing to see these going away because I hate these cars with the passion of 1,000 suns. It's the same thing as the X4 and the X6. These filled gaps that didn't exist and never needed to. The elevated sedan SUV hatch thing.
The coupe
No one needed
SUV.
these.
Nobody wanted it.
Right, correct. But they're not even coupes. That's the most mind-numbing thing ever in nomenclature.
The
Grand
fastback.
Coupe. The Grand Coupe. It's a fucking four-door. It's not a coupe. It's not a coupe. A coupe means two fucking doors. Stop. It's so annoying. The GLC coupe. It's not a coupe. Stop calling it that. Call it an ugly jelly bean. I don't care. This is not a coupe. None of them are coupes. All of them have four doors. Stop. These things are freaking annoying lifted hatchback, fastback sedan SUV things. And they're loathsome and I hate them. If you've ever bought one of these or owned one of these, I have zero respect for you as an automotive enthusiast at all. Even the AMG versions. Full stop.
They're pointless. They're ugly.
They really are. I hate them.
They have
so much.
So it's a sign of the idiocy of buyers, though. And what I mean by that is we reached this point where crossovers exploded, right? And at the crux of it all, for most people, it wasn't about how much stuff you could put in them or how many people, any of that. It all came down to ride height, ground clearance.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it came down to. So they started going, okay, let's make an exciting, we'll call it fastback SUV. And everybody's like, no, don't do that. We don't know. Nope. We don't like that.
Here's the problem, though.
But here's the thing. They were emboldened to do that because crossover sales. So it's like, here's a special because crossover is becoming ubiquitous. Didn't matter what badge you had on the front of it. Drove a crossover. Whatever. So here's one that's special. And idiots bought them. And idiots like the ground clearance. And idiots like the all-wheel drive. And idiots bought them with ridiculous low-profile summer tires on them.
Mm-hmm. I know. The problem was that the X4 came out and it was actually popular. People really liked it and everyone was like, ooh, this is different. It doesn't look like an SUV. It doesn't look like a sedan. It's like a lifted thing. And then because that happened, in the next 3 years, everyone rushed these things out and they all turned into these just like god-awful pieces of crap. And not that the original X4 or X6, I forget which one came first, it's not like they were good to begin with. They weren't. They were terrible to begin with. They're ugly. They are awful. They are the luxury versions of the Nissan, the Nissan Cross Cabriolet. Like, they are the luxury versions of that hideous thing. So, like, I don't understand how people can look at this car and say, that's the car for me. I just don't. But it just is proof positive that people have no taste at all. And like sometimes people's taste is just all in their mouth. and it's nothing to do with what they like. Because if you drive these cars and you think this car is beautiful, you don't get to have an opinion on automotive culture, period. Like it's it is beyond my comprehension how people could like these cars and buy them, period. So I am very excited that these two are going away, and I hope they never ever 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 come back. And I hope most of them rust out and are put into the scrap heap, and I don't have to see them ever. I hate them so much.
I mean, well, that's what you get, Greg, for calling crossovers hatchbacks. You get things like this. You are the problem.
Because if there is anything that defines a crossover hatchback, it's these fucking things.
Well, again, you gave them for the reign to do it. This is your fault.
I take zero responsibility for this.
But let me put it to you this way, right? Like, it was a call and a response, but it was a call and a response because, hey, this shit sells. We made a crossover and everybody buys it. Let's make a new one that's special and less utilitarian, and they could have easily just bought a damn sedan. Mm-hmm. You know, it's. I honestly think there should be a law that you're only allowed three. As a car manufacturer, you can only make 3 variants or 3 different class of crossover: compact, midsize, full size, or subcompact. But you got to get rid of one of the others.
Yes.
You know, a subcompact crossover is still one of the all-time biblically stupid things ever. But I digress. You know, here's the thing. We talked about BMW. We talked about Audi. Now we're talking about Mercedes-Benz. Yeah. One thing they all have in common in recent years is all of their cars are either ugly. I don't dislike it, but it's not great looking. None of them are inspiring. Wow. Like, like the E46 M3, right? You had the E46 was already a handsome, subdued, good-looking car. Fender flares. Money.
Yes. Yeah. I'd say the only one that's like even remotely decent in the design department is Audi.
But even they started adding bumps and angles and stuff.
Oh, totally. I agree. But I'd say of the 3, they are probably the most subdued in that realm. Mercedes had a couple of models that were still like relatively good looking. The E-Class was very smooth, still had a lot of like waviness to it. Specifically, the wagon, you can still tell that was a great one. But, most of the rest of the lineup was just not attractive. And same with BMW, up and down. I really think that like Audi was probably the best of the 3 in that area. Like lots of angles, sure, definitely some wacky designs, but like some of the the A6 is really good looking. Like it's just a good looking car, period. And same with some of the other stuff. Like to me, the RS6 wagon is very angular and out there, but it's good looking.
That's where these companies are in a way they're excelling, because the extra aggression of those bodies make the regular ones look, or takes that bland design. And I'm not saying the Germans were never ever like, this is the only time in my lifetime where the Germans are like, we are pushing the boundaries of design and oh, you shouldn't have done that. Go back to being German. Leave the crazy stuff to the Asians.
Yes. Yes. Let's
let me put it to you this way:
straight lines, good body lines, the end.
When Korea does a better subdued luxury car than the Germans,
you're doing too much.
Take a step back, not too far back, maybe back to
96,
the 90s.
Yes.
Like not much further than back when they had their split personality thing.
Yes.
And then definitely not back to when they were.
No, not that far back. No.
They enjoyed vacationing in Poland.
1990. 1990 is as far back as they're allowed to go.
But I honestly think the German Big Three should have to make cars that look like every 3 generations of car. So let's just say you have like, the early 2000s is Gen 1, the mid 2000s Gen 2, and now we're into Gen 3. Well, the next car should have to reset to Gen 1 styling and then just rinse and repeat over the course of. They cannot do anything outside of those boundaries.
Yep.
Consider it the Geneva Convention of cars. Or the Paris
Yeah.
Accords. There we go.
Yeah.
Although that didn't really work out too well. But at any rate,
Either way.
Greg,
Yes.
Hey.
Topic du jour.
tell, at this point, Sean,
Hi, Sean.
what the car from the pages of history that has been discontinued and has no modern counterpart.
Yep. So can't do a Corvette. Can't do like a C1 because that exists still as the C8.
Can't do a 911.
Can't do a 911. Exactly. Yeah.
Go.
What car has to be from the annals of history that I would bring back as an nameplate?
Yes.
And as a car. Okay. So here we go. Let's spin this yarn. I think we had a brief discussion about this either last month or 2 months ago, when Chad was on a break. we were on a break, and I had said that some old muscle cars I think would be really cool to bring back because I had sort of recently fallen in love with the Dodge Charger and Dodge Challenger that got discontinued, and I mean the Charger, or no, is it? What is the one? Is the Dodge? It's the Charger that they still have, right? I think because they got rid of the Challenger completely. So I guess the Challenger we could bring back because that's now completely gone. But for me, I sort of have fallen in love recently with the Charger and Challenger. I think the last year for them was 2023 or 2024. Specifically the wide body versions of those. So I mean, if I was going to replace this thing with anything right now, one of those two cars would definitely be in the top 5. Just because they're cool, they're super cool. I love the V8s. The wide body just looks so good on both of those cars, and there's such presence to them. And I've driven both of them, and I really like them. They're fun. They sound great. They are cushy of a ride. It's just they're nice. Like for modern American cars, they're very nice. So with that said, I would say some of the older muscle cars that we no longer have, because we can technically include the Camaro in that. Like, I would love the Camaro to come back as a retro thing. And I know we had the modern retro stuff, right? Started with the Mustang, with the New Edge, or not the New Edge, sorry. I forget, was it the channel, correct me, the S197 variant. It had the really retro kind of looking one after I think the New Edge was the one from the 90s that went into the S197. And then everyone sort of tried to like go with that retro route, right? But the Mustang always kind of did it the best until like the Challenger came out, and then the Mustang sort of moved on to be more of like a sports car, and the Challenger just kept the muscle car heritage. So some of the older stuff, Pontiac GTO would be a cool one to bring back. Old Challengers would be cool to bring back, and like not like what they used to be. But Camaro, the old Camaro, 69 Camaro SS, just still to this day for me, like one of the all-time greatest looking, sounding, coolest cars ever. That would be awesome. I would also love, in a totally, totally different one, I would love to bring back some old rally car style cars that we don't have anymore that they did like homologations for. So like Lancia Delta Integrale. I yearn to drive one of those, and I would love to see something like that come back. That would be super cool. If I had to do one car though, that's very tough because I never have just these one car is the thing, right? If I had to bring back one car that's been discontinued, I don't know. It would have to be something that's like a tour de force, right? And it would have to be something that is genuinely game changing for automotive. So for me, a modern car that really did that, I think, is the S2000, because at the time it was the highest revving four cylinder, I believe. Um, There we go. Chad's S197 replaced the new Edge, which replaced the SN95, which is the updated version of the Fox body, which still replaces the Fox body. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Since I'm a bad streamer, don't have chat up. Yeah, I don't have. I am a bad streamer and don't have chat up at all because I can't see it because of the streaming software. But I'll try to rectify that soon. Either way, um, I would say probably the S2000. I would love to see a new S2000 come out and for Honda to work their magic because, excuse me, the S2000 was a pretty revolutionary car when it came out. You know, the highest revving four cylinder of all time when it came out. And I think it sort of laid the groundwork for modern four cylinders and are capable of. You know, all the four cylinders that we see that have a ton of amazing performance these days. I think companies looked at the S2000 and went, "Oh, that's what we can be doing. Let's figure out how to do things like that." Not that that's been replicated well, because it hasn't, but I think that was sort of a watershed moment for a lot of companies saying four cylinders are going to be the future. I would love to see an S2000 come back with like a naturally aspirated 300 horsepower engine that is just the most chuckable thing ever. And I think that would be just the coolest car, because something like that could be made to be affordable and approachable by someone. Whereas if I was to go, just like, oh, you know, I wish they brought back the what's the freaking American supercar company that was just like super weird, had like the W8 or like, you know, or the, you know, I want to bring back the Lister or whatever, like these really obscure cars that I think are really cool. Like no one would care. No one would buy them. They'd be way too expensive. And it would just be like, oh, well, who gives a shit, right? It's something that could truly like change the game, I feel, is like a new S2000, because we're obviously going towards this like EV future. We're going towards this, you know, no more V8s, no more V6s eventually, or inline sixes eventually. I feel like a new S2000 could be another watershed moment where it's just like, we don't have to do these things. We have the technology to make stuff fun again. Like, to me, that would be the one where I'm just like, and plus it was one and done. Like, I wish they would have made a Gen 2. That would have been so great. I know you were watching, Chad, but
Did you just say there was only one generation of the S2000?
Yeah, wasn't there?
The S500 and S600 from the early days.
No,
Literally the first car Honda made.
No, I know. To me, those are not in the same ballpark. I get that they are lineage, but I'm talking like there was never a second generation S2000 for the United States. It was just the S2000. It was a one and done, and that was it. So for me, like, I wish that's probably the one I would say off the top of my head would be very interesting to see, because of how technology has sort of been brought forward since that car came out. I think it'd be very interesting to see what they could do with naturally aspirated four cylinders at Honda if they really wanted to, because they're all about the turbo stuff, right? I think that Honda could really go to town on something like that, and it would sort of, I feel like it would change the game a lot again for companies to be like, oh, we can do this, and it actually would make sense and it would sell. So to me, that was my answer. And now you have to answer your own question while I go.
Okay. Well,
so go.
So, what would be the... So I thought about this a lot, right? Like, initially I thought, like, you know, to Greg's point, like a Camaro. I think Like, look, as much as I want to make the joke of Camaro, I'm a Mustang guy. Camaro doesn't. Now that the Corvette is so much, you want something sporty and fun from General Motors. It's the Corvette, and that's it. Which there's nothing in there. I mean, granted, the Mustang, Chevy could do an all-time thing. They're positioned. Mustangs have gotten more and more expensive, and their sales have shown that, not in a good way. So, Chevy could do an all-time thing and bring back the Camaro, but undercut Ford from a price standpoint. Number one, there's brand loyalty that will always be there. So a new Camaro will get Chevy guys very excited. And then there's the fact that, hey, the biggest complaint about the Mustang now is not what it is as a car, because they're very good. It's just they're so damn expensive compared to what they were. So a Camaro that would fit into that sort of price point, you know, and I'm not talking a V6 Camaro. I'm talking put an LS in it, or I'm sorry, an LT in it. And just that alone. And then have your variants, right? Like have your supercharged variants and everything, but keep it simple. You know, have your base, have your SS, have your Z28. Well, I guess Z28 is under SS. But at any rate, you know, have the base model, the V8 model, the sort of track-ish focused version, sort of like the Dark Horse is to Mustang now. Because, again, as a Mustang owner, I don't know if I'd be interested in a Camaro. But on the flip side, other people would 100% be into it. And if Ford started seeing, oh crap, we're losing a ton more sales to Chevy, you best believe they're going to come out and respond. Is that the car I'd bring back? No. Mostly because, again, Camaros are cool. I like them. But I don't know. I like the idea of an S2000 style thing. I like the idea of having something that's a little harder core, a little nicer, a little better than a Miata. That isn't the Subaru Toibaru GR86 BRZ twins. Because the thing that made the S2000 great was the engine. You know, originally came out with a 9,000 RPM redline. They then in turn bumped displacement, and it still had an 8,800 RPM redline, which was, you know, insane, especially considering the era it came out in. You know, then there's like a lot of like that style of car is on, and again, it comes into the fact that like, what's the affordable sports car that has an exciting engine? There really isn't one right now. So if you could come out with so like, I know it was never designed to be that, but you have something like, you know, Nissan comes out with a small rear drive. Maybe they call it the 510. You know, they're not, because they don't have an engine that's exciting that they could put into it. You know, who else? I mean, I'd like to see another RX from Mazda, just because Mazda knows how to make a chassis, and that'd be kind of cool. Honestly, and this kind of piggybacks on the Camaro thing, I'd like to see a new Firebird. I understand Pontiac doesn't exist, but let's just say, going back and like we were talking about, we brought back the Camaro. What if we brought back the Firebird or the Trans Am trim level? That was a slightly different body, You know, think Gen 3, right? And even Gen 4 for that matter. You could see the connective tissue between the two. I guess technically you always could, but you really saw it in those two eras, right? So you make a sleeker looking Trans Am variant because you don't need to make a Firebird and a Trans Am because now you're diluting the pool. And I mean, let's just say you even brought back the Pontiac Arrowhead, and in the middle, instead of whatever was there, you put the little Chevy bow tie in, kind of like they do with the Corvette logo, with the flags. You know, that would generate excitement. You know, hey, we're bringing back the Camaro's back. You can get the SS. Then let's just say the Trans Am's the next in line. And then you can have say the Trans Am is the Z28. They're interchangeable if you remove the body from it. Would they do that? No, because it doesn't make any sense to have two of the same car. Especially if it's a nameplate that wasn't selling all that great when you discontinued it. But I'd like to see something like that. Something to give the Mustang actual competition, because I think that's what happened to the Mustang. I think that's why the Mustang's so expensive now. They don't have competition, and they're not going to sit around and not compete and not engineer the car and not do any of that sort of stuff. They're going to go after the next logical target, which in this case became Corvette. And I think that was a mistake. I understand why they did the GTD, but it's straying too far from from what the Mustang ethos is. Is it an amazing car? Yes. Is it ridiculous that is a Mustang? Yes, it's incredibly cool. It's just, it's not what the Mustang's supposed to. You're supposed to be able to get a V8 Mustang, and it's supposed to be relatively affordable. What do you mean Chevy could pull a Ford? I get what you're saying, a Yenko SS, but what is the Ford version of Yenko that they acquired? Again, echoing Greg's points, I'd love to see like an Escort Cosworth, that sort of small, fun car, but they just don't like. I'd love to see that come back, but I'm like trying to think of things that could come back and actually justify the companies doing something with it, right? Like, it's not going to be here for 2-3 years and then disappear. Ford doesn't own Shelby. Shelby American is its own thing. That is Shelby. That's why you see the GT350, the Super Snake, and the Super Snake R. When Ford Performance was doing the GT350 for the S550 and the GT500, they licensed the Shelby name. To the best of my knowledge, that license has not been renewed. Which is why the whole legend... Which is why what everyone's calling the next GT500 with the Legend V8, which is why I don't think that's going to be called a GT500. I could be wrong. They could renegotiate or what have you, but I think it'll be called something different. You know, my money's on it being a Boss, like a Boss 429 or something like that. Or something new, like for S650 they came out with the Dark Horse. I think Boss 302 would have been a much better choice, but here we are. I'd like to, this isn't, honestly, Sean, that's probably what it's going to be called. It's probably going to be some variation of the Cobra. Or they're just going to flat out call it you're probably going to have the Cobra, and then you're going to have the Cobra R, just like you had the GT350 and the GT350R. I'd very much wager that. Which is weird because they could call things Cobra, but they didn't have this. Whatever. Boardroom shit never really made much sense to me. To that vein, there's a lot of other stuff. They could do a Cobra Jet, but here's the thing with Cobra Jet. That has become... What am I thinking here? Cobra Jet. So they did do a Cobra Jet. In recent years. It was sort of a factory drag car. That eventually evolved into an electric drag car. And now Cobra Jet is a part for Cobra Jet is an intake manifold for the Coyote and its variants. It's a ported Cobra Jet intake manifold with twin 67mm throttle bodies is literally the intake manifold, the setup that I'm hoping to do on my car. But I think you nailed it on the head with just Cobra and Cobra R, because you had Cobra and Cobra R in SN and the New Edge. And the Fox body. There's a lot of stuff. I would like to... honestly, I'd love to see Chevy bring back like a K5 Blazer. Or K10 Blazer. As a Bronco, competitor. The whole reason that the Blazer was founded was to compete with the Bronco. And not for nothing, that could replace the Tahoe. All you got to do is make a short wheelbase version. And even then, you don't really have to, because if you're not aware, the Bronco is absolutely massive. It's huge. The Bronco Raptor is as wide, if not wider, than an F-150. And it's a massive thing. In video, it looks like it's kind of sort of scaled down. But it's huge. And Sean, the King Cobra was Mustang 2, and we will never speak of it. That was their, oh shit. Turns out people actually want a V8 in their Mustang. We have to do something. And that was the result. A V8 powered Pinto is effectively what that became. And Sean, I'm not making it sound like I'm shitting all over everything. But, the Mustang 2 was the worst Mustang that has or will ever exist. What else? I don't know. They've never really made one, but Jesus Christ, GM, get on it. How would you make something to go up against the TRX and the Raptors, the pickup trucks? Again, a place to sort of steal market share. It doesn't have to be the most badass thing on wheels. But if you give them a V8 with some good off-road suspension, and it's the same price as a base Raptor F-150 with the EcoBoost, you're going to rip sales away from Ford. And not for nothing, it's going to fill the void. You're going to drastically undercut the TRX because that's a 6-figure truck. Like, come on, Chevy. 1 + 1 = 2. And in this case, 1 + 1 = fucking 5. It's not Bronco TRX level. And all the ones you see that are supercharged and stuff, that's like a aftermarket. They don't have a true Raptor competitor. Which is annoying because, again, you don't need to make it have a bazillion horsepower. You can make a bazillion horsepower variant if you want. But all you have to do is match what the Raptor can do with a hopefully fixed and not going to grenade itself version of the LT. So, how's it going, Greg?
Hi, I'm back.
How's
good?
Life?
Life is great.
Fantabulous.
Fantabulous. No,
So just to recap, I landed on a Camaro with the caveat being that it has to be noticeably less expensive than the Mustang. Because why is the Mustang not selling? It's overpriced at this point, or it's gotten too expensive. It's priced out the core Mustang demographic.
Right.
But if you're Chevy and you can bring something in that's, say, $5,000-$10,000 less expensive, gives a V8, has a checks all the boxes that most people look for in this stuff. You don't have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to suspension.
Right. True.
You can get brakes from Brembo. Like, you don't have to do a whole hell of a lot. And people are ferociously brand loyal, so people will buy it. And the people who are on the fence, it's like, why am I getting this $60,000, $70,000 Mustang when I can get this Camaro with the Z28 package, with the handling package, for 10 grand less?
True.
Will they do that? No, because they'll probably look at it, it's a Mustang competitor, and then they'll price it as the same and just expect GM people to buy it. And for the first year or two, people might. And then it'll just,
yeah.
As Camaros always do.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Because there's always that initial hype, right? And then right after that, they just take a nosedive. Every single time.
But if you can price it in such a way where it's, honestly, you'll force Ford's hand. If you, I don't want to say undercut Ford, but if you price it under the Mustang, it's got to have the V8. That has to be it has to be X cheaper than the GT. The SS with the Z28 package has to be X cheaper than the Dark Horse.
Yep.
And you don't really need, and let's face it, you already have a GTD competitor. It's called the Corvette. Let's move on with our lives.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So, and then I kind of went through a lot of your stuff, and added more to it. An S2000 type of car from any manufacturer would be good, but the key to all that stuff, and I was kind of running through manufacturers, the engine has to be exciting. The engine's not exciting. It's going to be another BRZ FR or GR86 and BRZ.
Right.
And rumor has it the next generation GR86 is going to get 3-cylinder from the Corolla GR.
Which would be awesome.
So, that's a pretty exciting engine, even though it's a 3-cylinder, but it makes a great noise. And it's, or what have you. Let's see here. Sean goes, bring back the Camaro IROC Z, naturally aspirated V8, no back seat, suspension upgrades, manual, lightweight, hood, trunk, minimal sound dampening. Well, I don't disagree with that. Honestly, I think there should be a Mustang variant like that. I'm trying to think bigger picture. And you're sitting here, you could do the all aluminum 5.3. Now, are you just saying that because you think that's the answer, or is it because you have one? I think in this scenario, GM, let me lay down the perfect scenario for GM. We've already talked about pricing. So that means the manual gearbox is going to be a Tremec, just because. They're out there. If it's an LT, it has the same bell housing bolt pattern as an LS, as it's had for years. Not overly complicated. I would even argue that you could bring back the LS and get rid of the DFI as an added complication, but that would require developing 2 sets of heads, a different fuel delivery system. Now expense is starting to creep up on your less expensive engine, and there's not really going to be an economy of scale there to bump it up. I did see something, and I'll circle back to it, because I was watching weird engine swap videos last night. So you're going to have give a center console that looks good, but it doesn't have to be digital. It just has to look good. Don't try to make it look modern. Just make it look good. And it has a digital element to it that gives you all the information you need. Blend it in nice. Don't try to use some fancy font. Just make it look good. Infotainment system. You don't even have to develop anything for this. I know GM hates Apple CarPlay and stuff, but just get a basic bare bones that does the job, that is quality, but isn't 19 fucking inches tall. Just make it 8 inches, which is plenty. Ask any woman. And do that. Hell, you don't even have to have a big screen. I think Ford has a 4-inch display as the base, or they did in the S550, and people didn't really mind that too much. You know, you have the manual box. You have an automatic. You have the same 10-speed automatic the Mustang uses. You just don't. It's in a Silverado. You already have that.
Yeah.
Right? And I know what I can hear people thinking. Chad, if you're just reusing stuff, how is that any different than the Z? I've never said the Z is a bad car. What I'm saying is the Z is using recycled parts and they're overpricing it because, well, they're dumb. This is flipped. This is using recycled parts and is going to be priced like it. Because I guarantee you, if you had a 6.2, it made 450-ish horsepower. It had a manual option. The 10-speed is already proven to be really good in the Mustangs. Just use that. You don't need some fancy diff. None of that sort of stuff. And it's priced 5 to 10 grand under the corresponding Mustang. It will sell. I guarantee it.
You're not wrong.
And just like I told the Mets earlier, like I told you so, I'll be back in 5 years when they eventually do this. Because again, they have a glaring gap.
Mm-hmm.
It's crossover, Corvette. It's like, you skipped the step.
Yeah.
And fuck, I don't even care. It could just be like the last time the Camaro got discontinued and we went to a Pontiac, which was the GTO, which then it got discontinued and went back to that. What if you had, this is Chevy, but it's a Chevy, but it's got the Pontiac Arrowhead with the Chevy bow tie in the middle. And you called it the Firebird and you had a Trans Am and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would love that.
And then just real quick before we touch on the last couple cars that are being discontinued, I was watching an engine swap video. Number one, we've all known and loved Nivlak 57. He's the guy that kind of popularized the Atlas 4200s, the Ameribera, the straight sixes, right? Mm-hmm. Well, as I'm sure Sean already knows, because Sean is an encyclopedia of knowledge, there's a 5-cylinder variant of that actually has the same firing order as the Audi Quattro. Even though they'll tell you the fire rating is X, they number the pistons differently. So it's exactly the same firing order as... And it sounds like an Audi. It sounds fucking awesome. That was really cool. And then I was watching this other guy who's doing a street-ported 13B in a BMW i8. The mid-engine thing.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
And he's keeping the hybrid system, which I thought was cool.
Extra crazy.
I think Hanson would love this guy's content because the dude doesn't just... He's like part of the video is him bolting the part on, but the first half of him is explaining the part in CAD.
That's pretty cool.
You know, and he was talking about the Ecotech 4200 or something like that. It's literally, so you know the LT2 or whatever, and the LTs they're using in the trucks and everything. It's literally that, but 6 cylinders. It makes like over 300 torque and just under 300 horsepower. But apparently they like them some boost, and you get 600 horsepower out of them pretty easily.
Yeah, that's cool.
That'd be a cool, because it's a pushrod V6, so those always have an interesting sound to them.
Yeah.
That I was like, that's an engine I kind of want to play with. But
Yeah.
real quick, we'll touch on Sean and what I can only describe as his eternal quest for Chevy to bring back the Vega. You really like the Vega, don't you? But he goes, Chevy could bring back the Vega with a 4-cylinder and an optional V6. And then for shits and giggles, Buick could take that new Vega and do a Grand National. Yes, I know the original was a G-body, bigger than the Vega, but still. I mean, that's actually, of all the things you've said, and I'm only going to take one little part of that, that's arguably the most interesting. Imagine if Buick got a hold of, say, the AT, what is it? What's the midsize sedan that replaced the ATS? The AT4?
AT4, yeah.
Imagine, if you will, an AT4 that gets a little retro Grand National styling. It's got a turbocharged V6, which it should have come with a V8. But you know what doesn't need a V8? A Grand National.
That's true. That's true.
But take it easy, Sean. We'll catch you in the next one. I mean, think about it. Buick brings back the Grand National. Every single person our age is going to be like, okay, yes, please.
Yes, give me. I'll take 8 of them.
I mean, shit, you could put a turbocharged variant of that V6 I just mentioned, the pushrod one, and put it in there just for extra authenticity, because you know what it probably is? It's probably smaller than the dual overhead cam V6 that's in it now.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
That's
that would
true.
be such a cool project. At any rate,
Yeah.
let's. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh God, there's a lot. We can group these together.
I was just gonna say let's just rapid fire them,
Yes.
and then we'll call it after that. So I'll just do each one. You give me your quick thought on it in 60 seconds or less. The Nissan Altima.
What are the shitty drivers going to drive?
They'll find something, that's for sure, but pretty much nothing else.
I mean, for this one and the next one, they don't
Nissan
need to
Versa.
exist. The next one is the Nissan Versa.
Yeah.
Neither of them, are they really selling all that much? Maybe. Don't know. Don't care. We've said this a million times. Nissan needs to downsize the number of models they make and just focus on making 3 or 4 really good ones for both Nissan, and then make a luxury version for Infiniti. Next question.
Exactly. No, totally agree. The Porsche 718 Boxster and 718 Cayman, same car, just hard top versus, no top. Basically, what's happening with this one is they're ending it as we both know it. So they're going to be reborn as EV sports cars. Development is said to be behind schedule. So it's not entirely clear when it will arrive.
This is monumentally stupid. This once again
according to the
creates a
article.
gap.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. You cut out, so I didn't hear. I thought you were finished.
oh no, I was finished. You're right.
Okay, so this is stupid.
Yes.
I have never been the biggest, we'll just call it 718 fan, even back when they were separated, Boxster Cayman. I've never been the biggest fan. Granted, the Cayman has grown on me quite a bit, especially in GT4 RS trim. And this goes back to what we were saying about having a market gap. The Caymans have always been sort of the affordable Porsche sports car, or at least they have been since we don't have things like the 944 and all that stuff yet, right? So I think this is a reaction. Remember how we were talking about the Audi 5-cylinder going away because of whatever the Euro 7 or whatever it is regulations?
Yeah, the Euro 7 regulations, exactly.
I got a feeling these are getting axed, especially when you bring in the fact that they're being replaced by EV. We've talked about how EV sports cars, like, aren't buying. They just don't really want them.
Right.
You know, so I think like the 718s were. It's like, all right, well, we got to do this electric sports car thing. We have to get rid of. We have to do it in one of the two sports car platforms we make, the 911 or the 718. We're gonna have less people chopping our heads off if we do the 718. Like, and I'm not even saying they would replace the 911 with the electric thing, but there would be an electric 911, and I think people got pissed when they switched to electric power steering. Imagine what would happen if they got electric everything. Greg, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. But yeah, that to me that's really really dumb. However, the next one, the Macan, go ahead, make an electric version of it. Do not care.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
for it.
That's the other one, the Porsche Macan. It's literally the internal combustion going away and EV coming in. So like, yeah, again, the same thing with the crossovers. Like, okay, cool, who cares? But like, I agree with you. I think that 718 going all EV is biblically stupid. Like, that's just alienating, I think,
That-
90 to 95% of your entire customer base.
Like we talked about last time about EV sports cars and stuff. I think this is one of those decisions that you might see is kind of the Porsche version of New Coke. And what I mean by that is that, okay,
Yeah.
we kind of have to do this to play it safe, just in case these regulations stick. But in the likelihood that they don't, you'll see these come back.
Exactly. I think that within 5 years they'll be back. I think we'll see another internal combustion boxer or a completely different platform of internal combustion sports car.
You know, the mid-engine, we'll call it budget option Porsche.
Yeah.
They're not cheap, but you get
Yeah,
the idea.
exactly. Yeah. Next one is sort of a bummer. Sort of like, again, like who cares? It's sort of it's a double-edged sword in that sense of like we're losing another sedan, but also it's like, you know, this one was kind of a nothing burger. One of the longest running sedans currently is the Subaru Legacy that is now going away.
Legacies were cool.
They were. The wagons were really cool.
You know, to me, they always played second fiddle to the Impreza variants, specifically the WRX STI.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
if you want, you know, they were cool, but you know, people are axing sedans, and again, this goes back to what do you want to see, you know, axed? The Legacy or the WRX? Personally, I could give a crap. Both. They've strayed so far from the WRX formula or the Impreza formula. Okay, good for you, Subaru. You've lost your way. The Legacy going away. Sad, but not surprising.
Yeah.
You know, do whatever, Subaru. You used to be unique and interesting and different. Now you're just becoming, I don't know, we'll just say 20% of Toyota.
Pretty much, yeah. Which they've always been, but now it's very apparent.
Well, now it's just like, you know, somewhere along the lines, Toyota makes the exciting all-wheel drive fun car, and Subaru makes a crossover that they're trying to pass off as the all-wheel drive fun car.
Right.
Like,
something's getting lost in translation here.
What in the Fuji Heavy Industries just happened?
Right. Exactly. They did they're cosplaying as each other. Then the last batch is a bunch of Volvos. So we've got the S60 sedan, the S90 sedan, the V60 Polestar engineered wagon, and the V90 wagon.
Okay, so I mean S60s, that's a Volvo nameplate that's been around for forever. Not altogether surprising. As much as we love Volvo on this channel, I don't have their sales numbers in front of me, but Volvo has, how many different owners has Volvo had in our lifetime, right? They were Volvo, then they're part of FOMOCO, then I think someone else owned them, and now they're owned by Geely. Mm-hmm. Right?
No, went right from Ford to Geely. There was just a little gap where nobody owned them for like 2 or 3 years.
So like, on the one hand, it's sad to see these cars go, but I also think, on the other hand, they have not as much as the WRX, but in that same vein, they are shells of what they used to be. You know, S60R was, we compete with the M3. You don't, but we love that you're trying, and it's cool, and you have an exciting, interesting, different engine. We're going to buy you.
Yes.
Right? I honestly think the twin-charge Volvo engine needs to go away. I think it's a way too complex of a thing to manufacture when you could easily get the performance numbers out of simply just turbocharging it. Just use a better turbo.
Yeah, I mean, and they had a turbocharged variant. It's just that like everyone wanted the good one.
Right. Well, the thing is that what was it? The twin charge made 300-ish horsepower, 300 plus.
316, yeah.
Ford, Honda, shit, even Toyota with a 3-cylinder, making those power levels with it, right? And nobody's complaining.
Exactly.
You know, I will say to this day, the S60, the S90, all of the ones that have been mentioned, best. Lexus makes, I think, in my opinion, the best interiors in the game. Volvo makes the best interiors in the game, but very understated, like very classy, very understated. Yeah. You know, they have a big-ish touchscreen, but the way they made it, it blends into the, as opposed to stands out.
Yes, it's part of the car, not the part of not the part of the car.
It's not like your kid threw a tablet and it just stuck in the center console.
Exactly. Yes, it's integrated beautifully.
So, and again, this goes back to what we opened the show with: that sedans going away. That's sad. Wagons going away. That's very sad. A high performance wagon, which we have to call the Polestar engineered V90 or V60. Is also sad, even if it's a hybrid twin charge fucking. I'm surprised it doesn't have a steam generator somewhere on it just to cover all of the bases.
Yeah.
You know, it is really sad to see these, but
you could see it coming.
We saw it coming, and like Volvo held on to the wagon longer than most, and. It's a shame to see him go because now I think everybody else, this will do one of two things. One, it'll be like, Volvo's not making the wagon anymore. We could capitalize on that. Hans, make a wagon.
Yeah, it's true. Like Volkswagen could bring one back and be like, ooh, there's some market share we could take.
You know, or what would more than likely happen is, oh, Volvo's not doing wagons anymore. They were the wagon people, and they're not doing it anymore. Mm-hmm. Okay, next person to suggest we make a wagon, I'm throwing off the 12th floor.
Also, that's probably the more likely scenario here.
Which, of all of the, which sucks, arguably, I would say, for my money, it would be RCF, the 718s, and then station wagons. Or not even station wagons, just wagons. Mm-hmm. Dying. Like, it would be third as, like, the saddest.
Yeah.
But again, Volvo's not a massive company. So, and they're usually pretty intelligent about, okay, we need to trim the fat. Case in point, I forgot there was a V90. Just totally forgot.
Yep.
Like, and then I didn't even know they made a V60 Polestar engineered, which they should have just called the V60 Polestar.
Right, correct. It should have just, yes.
Or gotten rid of the Polestar and then just collaborated with what's-his-face and called it the V60 Engineering Explained.
Jason Fenske. Yeah, there you go.
You know, so...
Yeah, that's good.
Look, I think to put a bow on this entire conversation and all these cars going away, I think a lot of it is expected. It's the way the automotive industry as a whole is sort of moving. You see that ripple effect as it goes through. You see... you know, weird alphanumeric nameplates getting replaced by hopefully something simpler. As opposed, who knows? Maybe Audi will go to. We call this the Audi Munich. It's like, what? You're just naming cars after German cities? Great, that'll and like, although they're German, so they'll be like, this is their smallest won't be the A3 anymore. It'll be the smallest German city they use, and then the biggest one, the S8 replacement, will be. You know, the Frankfurt, because it's the biggest city. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But
no, you're right.
And some of it is sad. Some of it's like one of those things we saw coming. So we've had a chance to soften the blow. But this stuff is always going to happen. Like this is something we could do yearly. You know, this car is going
100%.
away. This SUV is going away. Thank God the fastback SUVs are falling out of favor to where everyone's getting rid of them. Yay. Victory.
Good. Yeah, we should definitely make this a segment every year. Like,
Yes.
yay, we're getting rid of this stupid crap. Boo, we're getting rid of this awesome crap.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so on that note, I want to thank everyone for watching. We kind of picked up steam there later in the show. There's a long time where we were talking to ourselves.
Fine. People
but
watch after too. It's all good.
Show moved along pretty good. But I just want to thank everyone. And before we send you all on your merry way, Greg, your dad advice for the week.
Yes. Water your lawns. Because I'm angry at mine because it's burnt out and we just had a lot of rain here. And that's my advice is water your lawns because as now a can I say middle-aged? I guess
You're 100% a middle-aged white dude.
Yeah. I'm a middle-aged white dude in the summer.
Therefore, the quality of your lawn is directly tied to your self-worth.
Lawns are very important to me now. Extremely important to me.
Now, to tie this in with dad advice, the lawn needs watering. Teach your kids responsibility and accountability by telling them to water the lawn for you and make sure you check up on them. This way, you're teaching them they have to work to earn their keep, all of that stuff. The single guy has to bring that out. But at any rate, I appreciate you, Greg. I appreciate everyone. As for this show, that's going to be a wrap.